She died at 127, looking like she was 40. When her diaries were opened, the authorities immediately classified all the contents. 80 years passed before a single document accidentally leaked out. What was written there turned everything we knew about aging upside down. It turned out our bodies are programmed to live at least 150 years, remaining young. But in 1847, at a secret council in Veneto, a decision was made that changed the fate of humanity. What you will learn today will explain why your grandmother looked 80 at 60, why your body starts giving up after 30, and why this is no accident, but a precise calculation. Her name was Leila El-Said, an Egyptian woman born in 1822 in a small village near Luxor. An ordinary girl from a family of weavers. Nothing special. But at 19, something happened to her that changed her life forever. One night, returning from the market, Leila got lost in the sands. A storm began. She took shelter in the ruins of an old temple that locals avoided, considering it cursed. There in the twilight, between ancient columns covered with hieroglyphs, she saw an old woman. The woman sat motionless, like a statue. Leila thought it was a mirage, but the old woman spoke. Her voice was strange, simultaneously ancient and young, as if several people of different ages were speaking at once. "You have come," she said in an old dialect that Leila could barely understand. "I got lost," the girl replied. "No, you have come. Your body called you here. It remembers." The old woman stood up, and at that moment Leila saw something that made her blood run cold. As she moved, the face of the old woman changed for a moment, as if a mask slipped, and beneath the wrinkles, the face of a young woman appeared for a second. Not a similar one, exactly the same face, only without a single trace of age. "What are you?" Leila whispered. "I am the one who remembers, the last of the keepers. I am 340 years old, child, and today I will pass on to you what they will soon try to wipe off the face of the earth forever." Leila spent that night in the temple. The old woman spoke, and with every word the air around them seemed to grow denser, filling with something ancient and incredibly alive. Once upon a time, long before the pyramids you see now, another civilization lived on this land. They did not build with stone, they built with light and sound. They understood what your world has forgotten. The body is not meat and bones, it is a cluster of vibrating energy, held in shape by your consciousness. Leila listened without interrupting. Something inside her recognized these words, although she was hearing them for the first time. These people lived for 300, 400, 500 years, not because they were different, but because they knew a secret. They understood that aging is not a law of nature, it is a frequency. A low, slow, heavy frequency. And when you resonate with it, your body begins to move to the rhythm of decay. The old woman came closer. Her eyes glowed in the dark with an unnatural light. But there is another frequency, the frequency of eternal renewal, the frequency on which life itself sounds. When you tune your body to it, aging stops. It does not slow down, it stops, and then begins to go in reverse. "This is impossible," Leila whispered. "Impossible," the old woman smirked. "Look at me. I am 340 years old. In your world, this is impossible. In mine, it is natural." She reached out her hand, took Leila's palm, and placed it on her own chest. "Do you feel it?" Leila froze. Beneath her hand, a heart was beating, but its rhythm was strange, slow, incredibly slow, as if time inside this body flowed according to different laws. 25 beats per minute, the old woman said. "You have 75 right now." The slower the heart beats, the slower the body ages. This is one of the keys, but not the only one. For the next 3 months, Leila came to the temple every night. The old woman taught her, showed her techniques that had been passed down by word of mouth for millennia. Breathing practices that restructured the work of all glands in the body, sound vibrations that activated self-healing mechanisms at the cellular level, ways to enter special states of consciousness where one could directly communicate with their cells and give them new programs. "But why is this knowledge hidden?" Leila asked one day. "Why don't people know?" The old woman's face darkened, because it began 200 years ago. Those who crave power over the world understood a simple thing. You cannot control people who live long. A person who has lived 200 years accumulates too much wisdom. He sees all the cycles, sees all the repeating tricks. He cannot be deceived. But a person dying at 60 or 70 barely has time to understand anything before passing away. She stood up, started walking around the temple. They started small. First, they declared the practices witchcraft, started burning those who possessed them at the stake. Then they implanted the program of rapid aging into people's consciousness through religion, through fear. Every prayer book, every sermon repeated, life is short, the flesh is weak, the body is mortal. This is not philosophy, this is programming. Leila remembered her grandmother, who at 50 seemed like an ancient old woman. Remembered how everyone in the village believed that after 40 a woman begins to wither, and that this is natural. Then the old woman continued. They went further, began to add substances to food and water that accelerate aging, changed the way of eating. People used to eat simply. Now food is dead, processed, stripped of life force. The body feeds on it and gets nothing. It begins to break down. But why? Leila did not understand why they needed us to age. Control. The fear of death is the strongest fear. A person afraid of dying will agree to anything, will give up freedom for the illusion of safety, will work for the system, hoping to have time to live, will buy pills, creams, procedures, giving away their last money. An entire industry is built on the fear of aging. She turned to Leila. And now they are moving to the final stage. Soon, very soon, they will start collecting and destroying all ancient texts describing longevity practices. They will classify research that accidentally stumbles upon the truth. They will mock those who speak of it, calling them charlatans. Why are you telling me this? Because you are a conduit. You must live long, write everything down, hide it so that in the future those who need it will find it. I see it. 80 years after your death, someone will find your diaries and the chain will not be broken. But how does it work? Leila was a practical girl. What exactly happens to the body? The old woman smiled. Your body consists of trillions of cells. Every cell is a living being. It is born, it lives, it dies. But before dying, it creates a copy of itself. And this is where the most important part begins. She drew a circle in the sand. Inside every cell, there is a special structure. Scientists in the future will call them telomeres. They are like an hourglass. With every cell division, the sand becomes less. When the sand runs out, the cell can no longer create new copies. Aging begins. And what can be done? There is a way to turn the clock over. Special states of consciousness that activate a specific enzyme. It restores telomeres, literally returns the sand back. But this is only one mechanism. The old woman drew another circle. In your brain, there is a gland the size of a pea, the pituitary gland. It controls all the other glands in the body, the thyroid, the adrenals, the sex glands. Together, they create a hormonal orchestra. When the orchestra plays harmoniously, you are young. When there is discord, you age. Modern people live in constant stress. Stress destroys the harmony. The adrenal glands work to exhaustion, releasing cortisol. This hormone literally eats away youth, destroys collagen in the skin, weakens bones, fogs the mind. Leila nodded, absorbing every word. But the practices I teach you reboot the system. Special breathing calms the adrenals. Sound vibrations at specific frequencies force the pituitary gland to work as it did in youth. Visualizations create new neural pathways in the brain that send a signal to the body. We are young. We are safe. We are renewing. This is not magic. It is pure physiology. But a physiology your world has forgotten. Now I will teach you the main thing, the old woman said on one of their last nights. She told Leila to sit in the center of the temple on a stone slab covered in hieroglyphs. The first practice is the awakening of the internal breath of the cells. Close your eyes. Leila closed them. Now imagine that your body is not a solid mass, but an ocean. an ocean consisting of trillions of tiny waves. Each wave is a cell, and they all breathe, inhale light, exhale darkness. The old woman's voice became rhythmic, hypnotic. Start breathing slowly, very slowly. Inhale for a count of 8, hold for 4. Exhale for 12, hold for 4. And with each cycle, imagine how all your cells begin to breathe in unison with you, all together at once. Leila breathed and gradually began to feel something incredible, as if an ocean wave was waking up inside her, soft, warm, alive. Good, you feel it. Keep going. Now say internally, my cells remember youth. My cells are returning to youth right now with every breath. Leila repeated it, and with every repetition, the wave inside grew stronger, warmer, brighter. This is the first key, the old woman said 20 minutes later. Do this every day for 20 minutes. In a month, you will notice your skin has changed. In 3 months, that your body is filled with a strength you never had. In a year, people will start asking what you are doing, because you will look younger than you did a year ago. Leila practiced every night, every morning. The first weeks, nothing happened. She almost decided the old woman was mad, but in the 4th week, she woke up and felt something had changed. Her body was light, not just rested, light, as if a part of the weight she had carried all her life suddenly evaporated. She walked up to a bronze mirror and froze. Her skin, the skin on her face was smoother, firmer, as if filled with some light from the inside. It is beginning, she heard the old woman's voice behind her. Leila turned around. The old woman stood in the doorway. Now you are ready for the second practice. It is deeper, more dangerous, because it will show you the truth about why you were really aging. That night, the old woman led Leila deep into the temple where she had never taken her before, into a small, windowless room where strange drawings covered the walls, figures of people with burning points inside their bodies. Sit. The old woman pointed to the center of the room. Leila sat down. Now I will teach you to see what is hidden. In your body live not only cells, memories live there too. Every offense you swallowed, every tear you did not cry, every fear you ran away from, all of this settled in your body, and all of this ages you. The old woman lit some strange incense. The smoke was heavy, sweet. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and ask your body where you hold the pain. Leila closed her eyes, started to breathe, and suddenly a sensation rose from somewhere deep inside, a heaviness in her chest, a tight knot that had always been there, but which she had never paid attention to. I feel it here. She placed her hand on her chest. Good. Do not run away. Breathe into this place. What does it want to tell you? And then it began to wash over Leila, memory after memory. The father who died when she was 8, and she did not allow herself to cry because she had to be strong for her mother. The man she was in love with at 16, but who chose another, and she hid that pain deep inside. All the time she wanted to scream but stayed silent. All the time she wanted to leave but stayed. The tears began to flow on their own. She cried, sobbed, and the more she cried, the lighter her chest became. There it is, the old woman said quietly. You carried this burden all your life, and it aged you. Every day your body spent energy trying to keep this locked inside. Energy that could have gone into renewal. Leila cried for another hour. When the tears stopped, she felt empty. But it was a good emptiness, clean, bright. Now you understand, the old woman helped her stand up. Rejuvenation is not just breathing and practices, it is healing the soul, breaking free from everything you have dragged around for years. Only by freeing yourself will you truly become young. The following weeks were strange. Leila continued to practice, and unexplainable things happened to her. Sometimes she woke up in the middle of the night feeling her body vibrating, literally vibrating like a string. Sometimes, during meditation, she heard sounds from within, high, clear sounds that did not exist in the outside world. This is your internal symphony, the old woman explained. Every organ in the body sounds on its own frequency. When they are healthy, it is harmony. When sick, it is dissonance. You are starting to hear it. She taught Leila the third practice. Sound creates form. This is an ancient law. Certain sounds create specific vibrations that restructure matter. Your body is matter, and you can restructure it through sound. The old woman began to make a low humming sound. It sent a wave of goosebumps across Leila's body. This sound is the sound of deep renewal. It resonates with the bone marrow, where new blood cells are born. When you sound it, the bone marrow is activated, producing more young cells. She taught Leila 5 sounds, each for a specific organ. The sound for the liver, clearing toxins. The sound for the kidneys, restoring life force. The sound for the heart, healing emotional wounds. The sound for the lungs, filling with vital energy. The sound for the brain, awakening dormant areas. Sing these sounds every day for 10 minutes. Your body will respond. It will restructure itself to the correct frequencies. Half a year had passed since the night Leila first met the old woman. Over these months, she had changed beyond recognition. Her face became younger, her body stronger, energy was overflowing, but the main thing changed inside. She was no longer afraid. Not afraid of old age, not afraid of time, not afraid of life. One morning she came to the temple and saw the old woman was gone. In her place lay a note written in ancient hieroglyphs. The time has come for the final lesson. I am leaving. My time in this body has ended. But before I go, I must show you a choice. Come tonight. When Leila arrived that night, the old woman was there, but she looked strange, weaker, smaller, as if she was starting to fade. Listen closely. Her voice was quiet. I have lived 340 years. I have seen empires born and die. I have seen truth turn into a lie, and a lie into truth. I have seen so many deaths that I stopped feeling pain. And now I am leaving not because my body is dying, but because my soul is tired. She took Leila's hand. A long life is a gift, but it is also a curse. You will watch everyone you love die. Children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. You will be as lonely as only immortals can be, and a day will come when you ask yourself, what for? Leila stayed silent, feeling a strange emptiness growing inside. Therefore, I give you a choice. You can live long, you can live 200 or 300 years, but you will have to pay the price, loneliness. Or you can choose another path, live an ordinary life, but live it consciously, with practices that will give you strength, health, clarity, but without trying to stop time completely. What would you choose? Leila asked. The old woman smiled. If I could choose again, I would choose the golden middle, 120 to 150 years. Enough to see your bloodline blossom. Enough to complete your life's work, but not so much that you get lost in time. That night, the old woman passed her final knowledge to Leila, showed her hiding places in the temple where ancient scrolls were kept, taught her how to record the practices so they could be passed through the centuries, yet remain hidden from those who are not ready. And in the morning she was gone. Her body simply disappeared. Only a faint glow remained in the air, which slowly dissolved. Leila cried, but these were different tears, not of pain, but of gratitude. She lived 127 years, gave birth to 5 children, saw 23 grandchildren and 47 great-grandchildren. All her life she practiced what the old woman had taught her, and all her life she wrote it down. She kept diaries, hundreds of diaries, detailed every practice, every sensation, every result, and hid them. In 1920, when Leila was 98 but looked 45, people came to power in Egypt who began to collect and destroy ancient texts. Exactly what the old woman had warned about 80 years ago. Leila walled her diaries up in an old house in Cairo, left a coded map, and waited. She died in 1949. She kept a clear mind until her last day. Her body did not wither the way the bodies of ordinary people do. It simply got tired one day, and she let it go. The year 2029. Cairo. A young archaeologist, Yara Hassan, is exploring an old house marked for demolition. Behind peeling plaster, she finds a hollow space. Inside the hollow space is a metal box. In the box is a stack of notebooks covered in fine Arabic handwriting. Yara begins to read and cannot tear herself away. Leila's story. All the practices, all the techniques, everything the old woman taught. Detailed instructions. A diary of how it worked over 127 years. Yara shows her finding to her academic supervisor. He turns pale. Hide this immediately. Tell no one. Why? Because if this becomes known, do you know how many industries are built on aging? Pharmaceuticals, cosmetology, medicine, trillions of dollars. They will not let this see the light of day. But Yara does not listen. She starts practicing in secret at night. Follows Leila's instructions. Exactly. After 3 months, people start noticing changes. You look younger, colleagues say. What are you doing? Good sleep and water, Yara answers. But inside, she knows the truth. It works. It works exactly as it did 200 years ago because the body has not changed. The only thing that has changed is what we know or do not know about it. And now this story has reached you. Not by chance. Nothing is by chance. You are listening to this right now because your body called you here. It remembers. On a cellular level, it remembers the truth that it is capable of not aging. Now I want you to pause. Do not click the next video. Do not scroll further. Stay here with me for another minute. Put your hand on your heart right now. Do you feel it beating? This is not just a muscle pumping blood. This is a portal. A portal to the part of you that remembers everything, that knows how to be young forever. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath and mentally ask your body, are you ready to remember? What do you feel? A warmth in your chest, a slight vibration, goosebumps. This is a sign. Your body is saying yes. Now I will give you the first key, the very one the old woman taught Leila on the first night. It will take only 5 minutes, but if you do it right now, a seed will be planted and it will begin to sprout. Sit comfortably, straighten your back. If you can, close your eyes. If not, just look at a single point. Start breathing slowly. Inhale through your nose for a count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold your breath for a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Exhale through your mouth for a count of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pause for a count of 2. 1, 2. Keep breathing in this rhythm. And now, as you continue to breathe, imagine your body is not a solid mass, it is an ocean. An ocean consisting of trillions of small points of light. Each point is a cell. With every inhale, all these points light up brighter, filling with a golden light. With every exhale, everything dark, heavy, and old leaves them. Keep breathing. Inhale, light enters. Exhale, darkness leaves. And mentally say to yourself, my cells remember youth. Right now, they are returning to youth. Repeat this slowly 3 times with each exhale. My cells remember youth. Right now, they are returning to youth. Feel how something inside responds. Maybe a slight warmth, maybe a tingling, maybe just a feeling of rightness. This is your body talking. I hear you. I remember. Take 3 more deep cycles of breath and slowly open your eyes. What just happened is not a fantasy. You just activated a mechanism that has been sleeping inside you for years. Flipped a switch. Right now, in this exact second, microscopic but real changes have started in your body. The cells have received the signal. It is time to remember youth. But here is what is important to understand. Doing it once is a seed. For a seed to sprout, it must be watered. This practice you just did must become daily. 5 minutes in the morning, every day without skipping. In a week, you will notice the first changes. Maybe just more energy, maybe better sleep. Maybe your skin will look a little fresher. In a month, the changes will become obvious. People will start asking what you are doing. In 3 months, you will look at photos from 3 months ago and won't believe your eyes. But there is something else. Something Leila wrote in her diaries. A secret she understood after 30 years of practice. Practices work stronger when you don't do them alone. When a field is created, a collective field of people tuned to the same frequency. Ancient traditions knew this. That is why there were temples where people gathered, practiced together, created a wave that amplified the effect for everyone. Now in the modern world, we are separated physically, but not energetically. Therefore, I ask you for 2 things. First, hit the subscribe button. Not because I need numbers, but because it is a way to say, I am in. I am one of those who remembers. Every subscription is another point of light joining the field, and the field grows, becomes stronger. Second, leave a like. This is not about algorithms, it is about energy. Every like is a vote. This is important. This needs to be heard by more people. And if you truly felt something during the practice, if it resonated, write 1 word in the comments. I remember. This is a code. It is a way to find each other. Those who are ready to remember the truth about their bodies. Do you know what is the strangest thing about this story? Leila died almost 100 years ago, but her diaries are still alive. Because truth does not die. It can be hidden, it can be classified, it can be mocked, but when the time comes, it always finds a way to step into the light. And now is that time. The world is changing. Old structures built on control, on fear, on manipulation are beginning to crumble. People are waking up, asking questions. Why are we getting sick so early? Why do we age so fast? Why are our bodies, created as perfect self-healing systems, falling apart by 50? And when people start asking the right questions, they find the right answers. You did not come here today by accident. You are ready. Your body called you. It is tired of carrying the weight of lies, tired of aging according to someone else's program. It wants to remember. And now, because you watched until the end, because you did the practice, the process has started. Do not stop. Keep going. 5 minutes every morning. Breathing, awareness, tuning into the frequency of youth. And remember, you are not alone. There are more of us every day. People who remember, who take responsibility for their bodies back, who refuse to play the game where youth ends at 30 and life at 70. We live in an amazing time. A time when ancient wisdom meets modern science. A time when the veil is falling. A time when anything is possible. The old woman who taught Leila lived 340 years. Leila lived 127. How long will you live? It is up to you, your body, your will, your readiness to remember what your soul has always known. Life is only short if you believe it is. Aging is only inevitable if you agree with that program. Youth cannot be returned only if you have given up. But if you are here, if you read up to these words, if something lit up inside you, it means you have not given up. You remember. Welcome home. Start practicing today and write to me in 3 months. Tell me what happened. But for now, breathe, be aware, renew yourself. Together, we are creating a new reality. A reality where youth is not a privilege for the lucky ones, but a conscious choice for everyone. See you in the next video. There, I will tell the second part of Leila's story. The part she wrote in the final years of her life, about what happens when you practice for 10, 20, 30 years, about what is truly possible for the human body. See you soon. And remember, you are young right now, in this very second, because youth is not an age, it is the state of your cells, and your cells are always listening to you.